No race in Australian motorsport carries more weight than the Bathurst 1000, held every year on the daunting Mount Panorama circuit. It's part endurance test, part cultural institution, watched by hundreds of thousands of fans deeply invested in decades of Ford versus Holden rivalry. When the Nissan GT-R arrived at Bathurst, it wasn't just entering a race. It was walking into the single most emotionally charged event in the sport, carrying a car many fans had already grown to resent. In 1991, Jim Richards and co-driver Mark Skaife drove the R32 GT-R to victory at Bathurst, Nissan's first win at the Great Race with the GT-R. It was a landmark result, proof that the car's dominance in Japan and across the regular ATCC season translated directly to Australia's most demanding and prestigious event. For a car already being called Godzilla, conquering Bathurst was close to inevitable, but it still landed as a serious blow to a fanbase deeply attached to homegrown Ford and Holden machinery. The 1992 race became something else entirely. Conditions turned severe, with heavy rain and worsening visibility forcing officials to red flag the race and end it early, freezing the results at the point the race was stopped. Richards and Skaife, once again driving the GT-R, were declared the winners under those red flag conditions. For a significant portion of the crowded Mount Panorama, a race ending prematurely, in the rain, with the widely resented Nissan declared champion, felt like the worst possible outcome, and they made their frustration known immediately, booing loudly during the podium ceremony. What happened next became one of the most replayed moments in Australian motorsport history. Jim Richards, standing on the podium and hearing the crowd's reaction, responded with a blunt, unfiltered outburst directed straight at the booing fans, defending the legitimacy of the win and expressing open contempt for the crowd's reaction in the moment. It was raw, unscripted, and instantly unforgettable, replayed and quoted for decades afterward as one of the defining sound bites in the sport's history. Beyond the drama of that single podium moment, the 1992 Bathurst win crystallized something larger that had been building for years. A significant portion of the sport's own fanbase had reached a point where a Nissan victory, even a legitimate one, was met not with respect for the engineering achievement, but with open hostility. That's an extraordinarily difficult position for any racing series to sustain long-term, because a sport ultimately depends on fans caring about the outcome, not resenting whoever keeps winning it. By the end of the 1992 season, Nissan and Gibson Motorsport had claimed back-to-back Bathurst victories, back-to-back ATCC titles, and a level of controversy that had moved well beyond typical competitive grumbling into genuine hostility from a meaningful part of the sports audience. Officials at CAMS, the sport's governing body, could no longer treat this as simply another dominant era to be managed with minor rule tweaks. Something more permanent was coming, and it was about to end Group A touring car racing in Australia entirely.